Oh yeah, is it Tuesday already? Wow, do we have a lot to get into today. Ewan McGregor took the stage at LA Comic-Con over the weekend and talked about Kenobi Season 2, and not just him fanboy dreaming about coming back to Obi-Wan. There's actually exploring ideas over at Lucasfilm for a Kenobi Season 2. Not only that, is Timothy Olyphant, coming back as Cobb Vanth in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. We got some news on that as well. And Skeleton Crew is now picking up steam as we have less than 2 months until this next live-action Star Wars show comes out. Wow, do we have a lot to get into today. So without further ado, let's dive into all of it. How's everybody doing on this fine Tuesday afternoon? What's up, chat? Wow. I mean, talk about a great weekend. Ewan McGregor coming out talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2, seeing Obi-Wan in the iconic Clone Wars armor. Not only that, Skeleton Crew gets closer and closer and closer. It's a good time to be a Star Wars fan indeed, and we got a lot of news to get into today. So without further ado, let's say hi to everybody in the chat, shall we? Darth Raccoon, what is up? Dominic, how we doing? Mando United in the house. Brandon Baker, what is up? Jack Robbins, how we doing? Trent, what is up? WVU Grad, how we doing? Starship 66 in the house. Nathan, what's up? Kip Fisto, how we doing? B-Man, what is up? Skywalker Academy in the house. Thomas, what's up? Chris, how we doing? If I missed you, you know, Fearless, what's up? Star Wars fandom, how we doing? King Shadow, how we doing? If I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's just give everybody a nice little
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay, so I mean, we're going to start with the Obi-Wan Kenobi news, but there is so much we have to get into, so we got to do it really, really quick because we only have a 2-hour show, as per usual. And we got a lot of news to get into as well. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate that. What's up? Funky Bulbasaur, great name. How we doing? What's 2 plus 2, sir? 5. Annie K, how we doing? Brady, what's up? Samba Luna, Luna, how we doing? I appreciate you. Okay. First TV show rewatch suggestion, go. Ahsoka. I don't know. It was the first one that came to mind. All right, let's talk about Kenobi Season 2, shall we? So, over this last weekend, there was something called LA Comic-Con. And that doesn't stand for La Comic-Con. It stands for Los Angeles Comic-Con. So over in California, there was a massive Comic-Con, one of the biggest of the year. Usually the biggest is San Diego, which is also in California. New York Comic-Con's huge too. There's a big one down in Florida. There's some big Comic-Cons all across the United States. But one of the biggest ones is LA Comic-Con. And there was a lot of Star Wars actors there. From the Mandalorians, Giancarlo Esposito, Carson Teva actor, blanking on his name right now. Somebody help me out in the chat. The lady who plays the armor, blanking on her name too. Somebody help me out in the chat. There's a bunch of Star Wars familiar faces. One of which being Ewan McGregor, who of course plays, who's that again, chat? Oh yeah, Obi-Wan freaking Kenobi, okay? And there's been a lot of rumor over the last 8 to 12 months of there being a Kenobi Season 2. Like actual, real conversation about there being a second season. Which is really strange to me. Because the way that Season 1 ended with the rematch of the century, and of course him going to train to become a Force Ghost with Qui-Gon Jinn, it seemed like the end of that story. It didn't seem like there was room for a second season. However, over the last month or two, us as a chat have talked about a second season, what could be in that second season, how there could be some sort of conflict. Maybe it doesn't involve Vader. Maybe it does. Maybe Hayden Christensen can come back as Anakin just in flashbacks to Clone Wars, stuff like that. We talked about it. We'll talk about it today. But it seems now, more than ever, Kenobi Season 2 is very likely. Very likely, and Ewan McGregor gives us an insane update about this. So without further ado, let's read this, shall we? So this first article we're going to read 2 articles about this news, but this first one comes from Deadline, and it's Ewan McGregor says that Disney and Lucasfilm are exploring ideas for Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2. Okay, let's read this. This was Ewan at LA Comic-Con, and then, of course, that's from the Kenobi show. Ewan McGregor is keeping hopes alive about a potential second season of the Star Wars series Obi-Wan Kenobi. During an appearance at LA Comic-Con, the actor hinted that Disney and Lucasfilm are exploring potential ideas featuring the Jedi Master. Here's what he said. Obviously, between the end of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series and when Alec Guinness is Obi-Wan, we got a few more stories in there, he said during this panel. Ewan McGregor played the Jedi in all 3 Star Wars prequel films and the Disney Plus limited series in 2022. Obi-Wan Kenobi takes place 10 years before the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope, that starts with Alec Guinness playing the Jedi. So there's 19 years in between the prequels and the originals. And right smack dab in the middle is the Kenobi show. 10 years after the 10 years before the it's 10 years after the prequels and 9 years before the originals. Yeah. So, as far as what McGregor wants to do is in the Star Wars universe, he said this. There's a couple of things. I'd quite like to wear that armor. Now, what he's talking about is, of course, the Clone Wars armor, but Ewan never got to wear it. We saw last year Hayden Christensen wear his iconic armor, Anakin's iconic armor, in Ahsoka Season 1, and that was awesome. We got Ahsoka in flashbacks to the Clone Wars. We saw Captain Rex. We got all of it, except for Obi-Wan Kenobi in that armor. And now Ewan McGregor feels left out. He's left out of the party, and he wants to do it too. He wants in on all the fun. Okay? I was speaking to someone earlier from the Clone Wars, and I think that's something I would enjoy. I wonder who he was talking to, actually. He was speaking to somebody earlier from the Clone Wars. Interesting. The actor said that the biggest challenge to make that happen would be the de-aging process, saying that he would have to wear dots, not war dots, wear dots on his face to make him appear younger using CGI, the deepfake technology we've talked about over and over and over again. The conversation forever that will reign on of do you recast or do you deepfake? And of course, I'm sure many of you will agree with me when I say you should deepfake Ewan McGregor to look a little bit younger. Abby, what's up? Soul, how we doing? Yeah. So here's what he said. I don't care. I'll do it. Wear the dots on his face, that is. And that way, Hayden Christensen, that is, really get back together again. So the big pull for Star Wars fans to the first season of the Obi-Wan series was Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor coming back to these roles after 17 years of not being in Star Wars. Ewan has had a career since then, doing other projects, doing other movies, all that stuff. Hayden, not so much. He's been in a few movies, but he really didn't do much. He kind of almost retired from acting and then comes back for this Kenobi show. And fans absolutely loved it. Seeing these two back together on the screen was incredible, and we want more. But getting more is very difficult. Just like I said earlier, the first season of Kenobi ended in such a weird way where it's almost like you can't see Vader versus Obi-Wan again, because it wouldn't make sense. It would be breaking the canon of Star Wars in some sort of way. So how do you get Hayden and Ewan back on the same screen together? Well, that would be in flashbacks. That would be to the Clone Wars and see them in their iconic Clone Wars armor. Hayden Christensen played Anakin Skywalker, who would eventually be known as Darth Vader in the Star Wars prequel trilogy. McGregor has been hopeful that Obi-Wan Kenobi will continue and expresses his desire to reprise the role, as he says this. I hope we get the chance to do another, and I'm sure we will. Not maybe we will. Not I think we will. I'm sure we will. I'm pretty sure, I've got a few years yet before I'm the same age as Alec Guinness in A New Hope. So there's time to tell more stories in there. That's actually crazy. How old was Alec Guinness when he played Obi-Wan Kenobi in A New Hope? And how old is Ewan McGregor now? Chat? Somebody get on that. Obi-Wan Kenobi is a 6th season, blah, 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 blah. We know what the Kenobi show is about, okay? Okay. So with that being said, chat, let's start up a poll, shall we? Let's start up a poll. And if you haven't smashed a freaking like on the stream, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Okay, let's start up a poll. Do you want an Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2. Yes or no? Do you want an Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2? Yes or no? We know Ewan's been vocal about it in the past. We know that Deborah Chow has been vocal about it in the past. And Hayden Christensen, we watched it live, the ceremony of Ewan getting his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He said that he should come back as Obi-Wan as well. And many fans want him back too. But there's a few issues with that. First of all, what would Kenobi Season 2 be about? We can talk about that in a second. But second of all, will Lucasfilm actually do this? And that brings us to our next article. Oh, whoops. Okay. That brings us to our next article. Oh, wrong button. Okay. Ewan McGregor confirms Lucasfilm is exploring ideas for a second season of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. It's been over 2 years. 2.5 years since Obi-Wan Kenobi series wrapped up on Disney Plus, and since some people, one man in particular, have brought up the hopes of a second season of that series. Ewan McGregor, of course, who plays Obi-Wan Kenobi himself. Star Wars fan, what's up? Niall McGinnis? Who? Alec Guinness, you mean? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Okay. Ever since the series concluded in 2020, has been consistent and vocal about wanting to return to the character for a second season of the series. Today at LA's Comic-Con, McGregor has reportedly revealed to those in attendance during the panel that Lucasfilm are at this time exploring ideas of a second season of the hit Disney Plus series. Now, it says hit Disney Plus series, and many Star Wars fans may not agree with that. Some fans not really liking the show that much. But when you look at the numbers, and I know many fans loved to look at the numbers when it came to the Acolyte show, but when you look at the numbers, Kenobi is one of the most successful Disney Plus series to date. Not just Star Wars, just in general. The premiere, I believe, was the most viewed premiere of all the shows, but it being a six-season series and all that stuff, it kind of fell off. It's still one of the highest viewed shows of Star Wars Disney Plus live-action content, or just Star Wars Disney Plus content in general. So it technically, to Disney, is a hit Disney Plus series. Now, exploring ideas is very different than just a hope that Ewan McGregor wants a second season. Him saying, oh yeah, we should do a second season, it would be great. Versus him and Lucasfilm actually sitting down, exploring ideas, coming up with ideas to do a second season of Kenobi are two completely different things. Okay? This is a reality that season 2 is actually being developed in some sort of capacity right now at Lucasfilm. Before, there was nothing. There was just a hope from an actor who plays the main character. Let's keep reading. An attendee of the convention and panel, Jamie took to X, formerly known as Twitter, to reveal the information. The X user added that McGregor was hoping to get a chance to wear the Kenobi's Clone Wars armor in live action, and that there would be flashbacks with Hayden Christensen's Anakin Skywalker. So he's basically hoping for Clone Wars flashbacks. Many fans had wanted to see Kenobi and Skywalker don their Clone Wars armor in the first season of the Kenobi series, but that did not come to fruition, which is weird, because you get flashbacks in the first season of Kenobi. You do. But they're not Clone Wars flashbacks. They flashback to even before the Clone Wars in Attack of the Clones time period, where Anakin is training with Obi-Wan. It's their early days of training. It's an important lesson. It works towards the plot of the first season of Kenobi, but they could have done that same lesson in the Clone Wars armor. It almost felt like a missed opportunity in the first season of Kenobi to not give us the Clone Wars armor. Now, there might be a reason to this. There could be a very big reason to this. And that is Ahsoka. Ahsoka comes out about a year after Kenobi does. But Dave Filoni, being in charge of everything now, would know that he's going to be doing Hayden Christensen in his iconic Clone Wars armor for Anakin Skywalker in Ahsoka. So maybe they didn't want to just rinse and repeat the whole Clone Wars thing back-to-back years, which would make sense. So going back to the Attack of the Clones days for Anakin and Obi-Wan in the Obi-Wan show would make more sense. But we still want to see Obi-Wan in his iconic Clone Wars armor. Let's be honest. Give me a 1 into the chat if you want to see Obi-Wan freaking Kenobi in live action in his Clone Wars armor, chat. What do we think? And while you're at it, if you're bringing back Hayden, you're bringing back Ewan, why not bring back Ariana Greenblatt too? Give us some more Ahsoka. Young Ahsoka in the Clone Wars? Why not? Why not? Okay, let's keep reading. I don't remember where I was. Oh, it didn't come to fruition. Though, it did feature flashbacks of the Master and Apprentice training, which was a highlight of the season to me personally. We got to see Anakin in his Clone Wars flashback donning his armor from the animated series in the Disney Plus Ahsoka series. So I think it's only fair to see Ewan McGregor in the costume of his animated counterpart as well. You may as well throw Ahsoka in these hypothetical flashbacks too. Exactly. Even if it's just for a brief kick of nostalgia and a bit of dopamine. So here's the thing. This whole paragraph is talking about, of course, Clone Wars flashbacks. And some might consider that to be fan service, for lack of a better word, or just doing it for fan service. It's fan service, okay? But is fan service always a bad thing? Officer Murdoch, what's up? Inklet, how we doing? Lee in the house, what's up, everybody? Is it a bad thing? Is fan service always a bad thing? You can have bad fan service. That's for damn sure. But Clone Wars flashbacks, something that fans have been begging for years? Is that a bad thing? Fan service is a good thing. Interesting. I think fan service, if done correctly, can be a good thing. Obviously, there's bad fan service. There's just stupid fan service for fan service sake. Yes. Fan service any day versus fan disservice. Obviously. I mean, you don't... Yeah, that's true. That is true. That's definitely true. I agree with that. Fan service for the sake of fan service is a bad thing. Yes. True. I mean, it has to further the story. We're not just getting live-action Clone Wars flashbacks for no reason at all. There has to be a purpose to that story. Lex says, I got 2 stories that we can do for Kenobi Season 2. Obi-Wan and Maul, or Obi-Wan versus Maul, and Malachor before Rebels? Wait, Obi-Wan versus Maul on Malachor before Rebels? Or Starkiller and Obi-Wan? Okay, well, Starkiller is probably a no. Just because it's hard to bring Starkiller into canon without just either nerfing him like crazy and fans won't enjoy that, or because he would just be way too powerful if you're not going to nerf him. But going back to Obi-Wan versus Maul, Maul's searching for Obi-Wan for years. That's kind of the gist of it. So when they reunite on Tatooine, when Maul, of course, dies, spoiler alert, when Maul, of course, dies, that's supposed to be like when he just found him, you know? What about live-action Cal Kestis? Well, if you do a Kenobi Season 2, then why not bring Cal Kestis into the fold? You know? If you're going to bring in, maybe you introduced the hidden path into live action in Kenobi Season 1. We've seen that now with Asajj Ventress and stuff in the Bad Batch. But why not bring us Cal Kestis too? Because Cal Kestis is a big part in saving Jedi as well. And BD1, of course, BD1 would be with him. And Marin too. These characters are going to play a big role in the Mandoverse saga, with Cal Kestis and Marin being very key components of what's going to happen in this Heir to the Empire type stuff. So maybe. Because in Rebels, Maul has amnesia on Mandalore, and you could have Obi-Wan fighting him on Mandalore. Oh, like as a Force vision? You could do that. I guess you could do that. Force visions can do a lot, you know? Yeah, I know. Okay. Personally, I'm all for a second season of Kenobi. I know many fans online were displeased with the first season, and it was by no means perfect, but it was a hit for Disney Plus, becoming the second most popular Star Wars live-action series behind The Mandalorian. Disney Plus Star Wars hasn't been had a great couple of years in terms of viewership. Ahsoka was middling. Andor was critically daring? Does that mean darling? Okay. But didn't attract much. Oh, critically. Yes, I understand that. I was going to say what? But didn't attract many viewers. And less can be said about The Acolyte. Disney Plus Star Wars needs a shot in the arm, with The Mandalorian transitioning to become a film franchise with The Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And the next two returning Star Wars series are Andor Season 2 and Ahsoka Season 2. They likely won't attract high viewership, certainly not the amount of views that Kenobi previously attracted. So when you talk about trying to gain views and get more people to subscribe to Disney Plus, get more people to watch your content, Kenobi seems like the no-brainer, giving it a second season because the first season was so successful in terms of viewership. When you look at shows like Andor or Ahsoka that didn't get nearly as many views as Obi-Wan, it seems like they won't get as many views with their second season as well. If Lucasfilm... Wait, I don't know what's going on here. Lucasfilm are only now kicking around ideas for a second season of Kenobi, then we likely won't see it for quite some time. Maybe very late in 2026 or more likely in 2027. Think about that for a second. If we're not getting this second season of Kenobi until 2027, that's 5 years. 5 years after the first season released. 5 years. That's crazy. So now you're talking about a huge break in between seasons. And it's 2024 still. That's 3 years from now. So it would make sense to announce a Kenobi Season 2, if it truly is going to pan out, at Star Wars Celebration 2025, next year, in April of next year in Japan. It would make sense to announce it there. First of all, because like this article just mentioned, Ahsoka Season 2 and or Season 2 are the only two remaining Star Wars Disney Plus live action shows after Skeleton Crew. So I guess there's 3. But after 2024, there's only 2 left. Andor Season 2 and Ahsoka Season 2, and that's it. So Star Wars Celebration next year is going to have to announce a lot of live-action content, and hopefully Obi-Wan Kenobi is one of those projects. By the way, this poll in the chat right now has 95% of you wanting a Kenobi Season 2. That's actually very surprising to me. I understand that Kenobi is a fan-favorite character. Ewan is loved. Hayden is loved in the Star Wars fandom. But the first season of Kenobi was not received well by the Star Wars fandom by any means. Everybody hated Reva. Week in and week out, people were crapping on the show. I thought the ending was fan-frickin-tastic. The rematch of the century was incredible. But if you cast your mind back 2 years ago, that first season was not really accepted well when it comes to the Star Wars fandom, like most things are now, but it, more than others, was not really accepted well. So it's surprising to me that so many of you are excited for a second season. I am too. I absolutely am. But it's surprising. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Yeah. Yeah. All right, now let's talk about some plot, okay? What would Kenobi Season 2 be about? Like we just mentioned before, the last season ended with Obi-Wan finding Qui-Gon's Force Ghost, finally, and now he's going to learn to become a Force Ghost. That sounds kind of cool, but it can't fill an entire season. There's no conflict there. There's no villain there. He can't go fight Vader again. They already had the rematch of the century. They can't fight again until A New Hope, because it wouldn't make sense. So what is the conflict? What is the story for a possible second season of Kenobi? What do we think, chat? What do we think? You tell me. All right, let me scroll up here and catch up on some chats, shall we? I missed a bunch of them, so let's do that, shall we? Okay. Andy K says, if you're not a dreamer, just hush and just let us have our moment. If you're not a dreamer? Okay. Not Vader again? I agree with that. You can't really do Vader again because him and Obi-Wan can't cross paths again. Not until at least A New Hope. Yeah. Yeah. Got Ahsoka on now? Let's go. Nice. What if they do a live-action Clone Wars movie? Okay. It's a good question, B-Man. Let me ask the chat. Give me a 1 into the chat if you want a live-action Clone Wars movie. Give me a 2 if you say no. No live-action Clone Wars movie. I'm interested on this because you guys know how I feel. I say abso-fruitly not. I don't want one. I do not. Look at all those ones. I don't. I don't want a Clone Wars live-action movie for a few reasons, okay? Hear me out. 1, stop retelling stories. Yes, you can do flashbacks to the Clone Wars. In Ahsoka, it works perfectly. They go into the world between worlds. They use that as a plot device to further Ahsoka's training with Anakin. It's fantastic. If they do Clone Wars flashbacks in a Kenobi Season 2, that again furthers the story, fantastic. But if you're going to go rehash a Clone Wars story just for purposes of bringing it into live action, no thank you. Tell a new story. Tell a new story. We don't. Now you, okay, well, all right. If you could find a new story in the Clone Wars to bring into live action, then maybe. But if you're going to rehash, like the Siege of Mandalore, just fully the whole siege in live action, it would be cool, but it already exists. I don't think the Clone Wars is something, the animated Clone Wars, is something that needs to be changed. It's some of the best storytelling in Star Wars, and it doesn't need to be retold just for live action's sake. So I say move on. I say you can, yes, go back to live action Clone Wars stuff, but you don't need a full-on live action Clone Wars movie just for the sake of making it live action. And it honestly probably won't do that good. Think about the box office. First of all, the Clone Wars animated movie, horrible. Did horrible. It's not that horrible, but it did horrible. Performed horribly. If you just randomly release a Clone Wars live-action movie, yes, all us hardcore fans are going to go watch it, but a normie fan is going to go, what the bleepity bleep is this? When does this take place in the timeline? Who, the, what, the, how, the, who? Anakin's still alive? What's going on here? Who are these people? You got to remember, as a normie Star Wars fan, they don't watch the animated stuff. So it would be way too confusing. I understand the Clone Wars are beloved. I love them too. Seeing them in live action in Ahsoka and hopefully in Kenobi Season 2 would be fantastic, and it was fantastic. But a Clone Wars live action movie, just for the sake of remaking a Clone Wars live action movie, is a no for me. Yeah. Can't wait for Skeleton Crew and Andor Season 2 next year. Well, we got some Skeleton Crew news today, so I can't wait either. I still think we'll see a Skeleton Crew trailer at some point within the next couple weeks. Yeah. Flashbacks of Anakin and Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars. I'll take a heavy dose of that. Hook me up to an IV and give me the pump. Oh my god. It's gonna be cool. However they do it, here's the thing. Ewan McGregor just put it into the world, okay? He just spoke it into existence. Now, if they do a Kenobi Season 2, you better believe that there will be a flashback to the Clone Wars. That's like 100% certainty. If Kenobi Season 2 happens, that scene will be in the show. Because he just said that. And now if it's not, fans will be very upset about it. So it will be in the show if Season 2 does happen. Darth Vacunar says, I heard an idea that the antagonist could be Mace Windu. He finds out that Luke exists and he tries to kill him to prevent another Anakin? A cool idea, but I don't want it. I mean, that's a bold theory, and you know how much I love bold theories. But no, I don't think Mace Windu surviving the fall brings up way too many complications. Oh, I just imagined how great it would be if Obi-Wan is training with Qui-Gon to become a Force ghost in his hut on Tatooine, and you just see Samuel L. Jackson all just one-armed Mace Windu walk in the door, and he's just like, where's the kid? Oh my God, that would be incredible. Okay, hang on, back up. No, Mace Windu's dead. Mace Windu's dead. Mace Windu. Is he dead? Mace Windu's dead. Okay. No, that's such a great idea. Damn it. Damn it. That is such a great idea. Okay. Just picturing that in my head is so damn cool. But no, I don't think that's going to happen. Mace Windu's dead. Because if he came back, they would need explanation. A lot of explanation. Because if he's going to hunt down Luke Skywalker, then he's going to hunt down Anakin, Vader too, and Palpatine as well. No, Mace Windu lives. Oh no. All right. For all of you out there that think that Mace Windu still lives, okay? How? I understand the surviving the fall aspect, but where is he after that? He's not in the Bad Batch. He's not in Kenobi. He's not in the Jedi games. He's not in Rebels. He's not in Andor. He's not in Rogue One. He's not in the original trilogy. Where does he go? That's the only thing for me. I can believe him surviving that fall. Coruscant has a bunch of speeders going around. He could have just fell onto one of those. I can believe him surviving the fall. But it's the after that doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. And for those reasons, for those reasons, Mace Windu remains dead. Qui-Gon also remains dead, but Mace Windu does too. Yeah. Why does the text say former Jedi Knight Ahsoka Tano? She was never a knight. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't know. I don't know. Skywalker Academy says, take Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon's training sessions deep into midichlorian worlds like George Lucas's treatments. You could dive really deep into the Force itself in a season 2. Definitely dive very deep into a season 2 for just how to become a Force ghost. Now, all right, let's just get into it. We came up with this amazing plot for season 2 like about a month ago during a live stream. And I talked about this in the video I posted yesterday. If you haven't watched that, go check it out. But the gist of it is season 2 would just be Obi-Wan training to become a Force ghost. Now, the conflict would be this character by the name of Asherad Het. Give me one into the chat if you know who Asherad Het is. Asherad Het is a Tusken Raider who was once a Jedi. Left the Jedi Order, became a Tusken Raider Jedi, and eventually becomes a character known as Darth Krayt. Okay? So Darth Krayt's going to be your main villain to an extent for the show. It would be great. So that's sort of little backstory on Asherad Het. He's a Tusken Raider Jedi, eventually becomes a Sith Lord. It would not only be giving you a great villain for Kenobi Season 2, but also a villain for a Rey movie. Because he doesn't become Darth Krayt right away. Darth Krayt is a villain who appears back into Star Wars in the timeline way later. So he could become the villain of the Rey movie, which would be absolutely insane. But he'll be the main villain on Tatooine. For Kenobi, he's going to leave Tatooine and go train with Yoda. Now, the big deal is that he can't leave Tatooine because Luke is there. You know, that was the same issue with Season 1. But if he calls in help, he calls in somebody to help protect Luke. Could be Quinlan, could be Ahsoka. Somebody even mentioned in the comment section of yesterday's video, could be Commander Cody, which would be insane. First things first, we don't know where Commander Cody's head's at nowadays, and we don't know if Obi-Wan would trust him after he tried to kill him during Order 66. But he'll leave somebody in charge of watching Luke, somebody that he trusts. I prefer Ahsoka Tano, but we'll keep going. So he goes to Dagobah to train with Yoda and Qui-Gon in the ways of becoming a Force ghost, because those two characters both know how to do so. There he'll train. He'll go on some sort of similar journey that Yoda did during Clone Wars Season 6. Think about this. In Clone Wars Season 6, Yoda talks to the Wills of the Force. Yoda goes and talks to Darth frickin' Bane. Like, it's a crazy journey he goes on to learn how to become a Force ghost. Obi-Wan could go on a very similar journey. Imagine seeing like Darth Bane or Darth Revan or the Wills of the frickin' Force in live action. Or not even that. He could go into the cave that Luke Skywalker goes into in Empire Strikes Back, where he fights himself as Darth Vader. And we could see Obi-Wan maybe fight Anakin, or maybe get a flashback to the Clone Wars with Anakin as well. Imagine seeing a rematch of Obi-Wan versus Vader on Mustafar with Anakin in the Vader suit. But you can do that because it's all a flashback, or it's all a Force vision, so to speak. Not a flashback, but a Force vision. It's all in Obi-Wan's head, but it's all a test. It would be wild. It would be absolutely wild, and it would be so good. And then he comes back to Tatooine, and to end the series, he has to kill or fight Asherad Het, who eventually becomes Darth Krayt, because he's going to kill Luke, because the Tuskens are going around killing moisture farmers, and Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru and Luke are next on the list. It's a crazy idea, but crazy is what you need when it comes to Obi-Wan and Anakin, because to tell a story that doesn't involve them fighting in the physical realm, at least, you're gonna have to come up with some crazy ideas, and that makes that to me would make the most sense and would be an incredible second season. Let's be honest. Who in this chat would not want to watch that? Not only bring in Darth Krayt, a Tusken Raider Jedi, into the fold, but also see Obi-Wan do some Force Vision flashback stuff to the Clone Wars, maybe Mustafar, get him to go to Dagobah, see Yoda again. Like, who doesn't want to see that, you know? So, Lucasfilm, if you're watching, and we know that you are, let's get on that. Let's get on that. Okay. That's my plot. But tell me if you got something better. Tell me if you got something better. Couldn't Liam Neeson come back then for the flashbacks too? Yeah, Liam Neeson would definitely come back. He'd be a Force Ghost Qui-Gon for the majority of the show. But for flashbacks, why not? Yeah, why not? Give us really young Obi-Wan training with Qui-Gon. That'd be awesome. That would be awesome. Nathan says, I saw this news yesterday when I came back home from vacation. I'm so hyped. That's awesome. Hope your vacation was fun. Sick invite, though. Thing is, I don't think we are just getting Andor Season 2 next year. I think there's more coming. I think there's more coming next year, but I don't think in the ways of live action, I don't think so. No. Live action Star Wars content next year is probably only going to be Andor Season 2. Yeah. Yeah. Ben, what is up? Qui-Gon's Force Ghost basically sets up Season 2. It opens up Season 2. I disagree, though. I feel like, yes, him training to become a Force Ghost is cool, but is it cool enough to warrant 6 more episodes? And can it be better than Season 1? Because you're always trying to one-up yourself in these seasons, making the newest season better than the last. So can you do that with just Obi-Wan training to become a Force Ghost? Maybe. Maybe you need to introduce some more stuff into it, like an Asherad Het. Yeah, there needs to be at least some sort of conflict. It can't just be him trying to train to become a Force Ghost. Yeah. I want the Force Priestess in live action. Filoni would be up for that. That would be pretty cool. Yeah. Maybe in the Mandoverse, though. Maybe Kenobi, but again, it would be very hard to pull off in live action, you know? Yeah, no? Star Wars Celebration's next year, so there'll be a lot more news coming. Yeah, absolutely. Star Wars Celebration is going to give us a ton of announcements. It might be one of the biggest ones in a long time. Last Star Wars Celebration was big. They announced the 3 movies, the Rey movie, Dawn of the Jedi movie, Dave Filoni movie. They announced Skeleton Crew. those are some big announcements. But I'm talking next year, we're going to get movies, like updates on the Dawn of the Jedi movie, Rey movie, Mando movie, probably announcements for more new movies, maybe Sean Levy movies, stuff like that. But we'll also be getting new live action stuff. Maybe Kenobi Season 2, maybe Book of Boba Fett Season 2, maybe something new like Skeleton Crew or Acolyte that we didn't know was coming. Definitely animated stuff, an animated show, probably some more Tales of the Blanks, whether it's Jedi or Empire or Sith or Bounty Hunter or whatever. Definitely more of those. Maybe a Visions Season 3. Like, next year's celebration could be an insane amount of announcements. Absolutely insane. So, yeah. In talking about Lucasfilm listening to fans, there's something going on. Let's read this article, shall we? So this is pretty interesting, and I want to know what you guys think about this. Okay, so let's just read this and we'll go from there, shall we? Shall we? This week in a galaxy far, far away, will Star Wars surrender to the online mob? Welcome to the blah blah blah. Okay. Okay, let's just get to the thing here, okay? Okay. All right, here we go. Increasingly, the attitude some fans have about Disney Star Wars programming is, look, we all know that it isn't fantastic anymore, but Star Wars is still Star Wars, and therefore it will do. That was the opening of a very interesting analysis piece of The Hollywood Reporter this week. We read this article, I believe, on Thursday's stream last week. I don't know, but it rips into Star Wars and how Disney Star Wars, whether or not they've been successful over their 12 years or not. Connor, what's up? But this goes into some more interesting stuff here. How many times have you heard the line, "It's Star Wars, so I'll love it no matter what," or any variation of that? Is that our role as fans, to love this stuff unconditionally just because it starts with the phrase "a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away"? Or is it to say enough is enough when the quality isn't up to the standards we established when we fell in love with these stories? Now, this becomes a constant struggle over the good versus bad when it comes to Star Wars. Now, Skywalker Academy in the chat just said, Lucasfilm, please do not listen to fans. Period. Never. Not the ones who think... Oh, sorry, it just went away. Hang on. Let me read that because it's very interesting. Not the ones who think they know what they are talking about when they say they know better. I believe that Lucasfilm should be listening to the fans, but they have to be able to, Lucasfilm themselves, have to be able to filter what is actual fan criticisms and just fans hating to hate, or fans loving to love, who just love everything. So they have to be listening to the fans, and of course weeding out the difference between what's actually helpful criticism and what just fans are just yelling to yell type deal. So let's keep reading. It's a slippery slope of a conversation. One argument leads to obnoxious conversations that can be ever completely detached from reality, can even be completely detached from reality. The other can be twisted and turned into obnoxious conversation that are completely detached from reality. See more on this side below. I choose to believe that the majority of us lie in the middle. I agree with that. There are parts of today's Star Wars output that we love. Those lightsaber fights in the Acolyte were pretty much unrivaled, let's be honest here, while others are just not good storytelling. Criticism of the latter is only meant to inspire artists to learn from their mistakes, yet becomes pernicious, when it's their turn, when it turns into a personal attack. So when some fans are trying to say that the storytelling isn't good enough, they're not attacking these people personally. They're just trying to convey that they want storytelling to be taken so seriously in the thing that they love the most, which is Star Wars. This is a great shot from The Force Awakens, by the way. Not gonna lie. But I'd also like to explain here why we haven't covered this story in case you were wondering, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Skeleton Crew is being labeled as a limited series, but more seasons could be on the table if it performs well. In other words, water is wet. So what they're saying here is if a project or a show or a movie, I guess just project in general, if a movie or show is successful, then obviously it's going to get a sequel. Obviously it's going to get a second season, because where money is, that's where we're going to get more projects. It's like Kenobi Season 2. We got a lot of views. It got a ton of views. It brought in money for Lucasfilm, so it's most likely going to get a second season. Kenobi's the same way. Mando's the same way. And Ahsoka's the same way, Andor's the same way, and so on and so forth. So if Skeleton Crew, which we know very little about, if Skeleton Crew is a massive success, it blows the doors off of people, like the numbers go up and up and up and up and up, then it will get a second season. If it doesn't do that, then it won't. It's plain and simple as that. Now, I thought this was in this article, but I guess it's not. Okay, this is not the article I was looking for. Hang on. This is not the article I was looking for. Star Wars. Okay. Yes, here we go. This is what I was looking for. This is what I was looking for. Here we go. So, the rumor has it that Star Wars or Lucasfilm or Disney are bringing together superfan focus groups. Are they the death of creativity? Let's read this. A recent Variety story. Movie studios are moving beyond traditional focus testing for their franchise movies, instead opting to assemble a specialized cluster of superfans to assess possible marketing materials for a major franchise project. Whew, that's a crazy sentence. Assembling a specialized cluster of superfans to assess possible marketing material for a major franchise project. What that pretty much just means in big words is they're trying to get a bunch of superfans together to see how they should market the material for their big franchises, Star Wars, Marvel, etc. So this is executives at Disney trying to make projects better, of course. Get the superfans who love Star Wars and love Marvel the most to sort of make the decisions. Now, obviously, they're not going to be what these people say is final. Absolutely not. But I think this is actually a good thing. And I believe this article is going to go into how it's a bad thing, but we'll talk about it we'll read the rest in a second. I think this is a good thing. Tell me in the chat if you agree. Allowing superfans, like people who understand Star Wars at the best level in Marvel and other companies as well, other franchises as well, allowing those superfans who've seen everything from Clone Wars to Resistance to Rebels to all the live action stuff, read the books, read Legends, like those type of superfans, having those people have an input on what's to come next could be huge. Absolutely huge for what the future of Star Wars looks like, because it always brings up one thing in my mind, and I'm sure in your minds as well, and that is the Old Republic. The Old Republic for super fans of Star Wars is something we've wanted to see forever. For as long as we can remember, for as long as I can remember, the Old Republic has been something that fans have been dying for. And if they are really going to have these super fan focus groups and actually listen to those fans, then this Old Republic content could be coming a lot sooner than we previously expected. Hardcore fans, yes. Super fans, same thing. I should have been invited to this? Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think I would get that invitation, personally. Yeah. Yeah. Superfans could be good because I think most of the haters aren't into all that stuff. Yeah, from an outside perspective looking in, it looks like Star Wars has so much hate going on from the normie fans. The reason that the live action content gets so much more hate than the animated content, it's not because one's better than the other. Well, maybe in some scenarios it could be, but it's because the more normie fans watch the live action stuff and watch the more prominent stuff. And those are usually your haters, so to speak. So yeah, you want to weed out those people like we just talked about a little bit ago. Absolutely. Yeah. All right, let's keep reading because I think this article is going to go down a negative route, but let's see. They're very vocal, says a studio executive. They all just tell us, if you do that, fans are going to relate. These groups have even led studios to alter the projects. If it's early enough and a movie isn't finished yet, we can make those kind of changes. So they're actually putting these fans' actual things into actual criticisms into consideration, as if they said, if you do this, fans are going to relate. And they're talking more of a broad sense, not just Star Wars specifically, but yeah. If you liked Joker, you like Taxi Driver, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Okay, so this is kind of just them saying that they're trying to get rid of the creative control by giving it to the fans. I disagree with this. I mean, what do you guys think, chat? Is this something that would be good? Oh, you're talking within the chat. That makes sense. Yeah. Would this be something good for Star Wars and other franchises in general, or bad? Talking to super groups or super fan. Oh, you guys can't see this, can you? Boom. Talking to super groups or super fans of the franchises, I think it could only help. Like, you don't have to listen to every single thing they say and make changes based off of what they say, but you can put it into at least consideration when you're making changes or talking about projects or making a project. I don't see, obviously, yes, Hollywood is trying to get rid of the creative responsibilities, but what? Mike, we're all talking about the reason that Joker 2 isn't doing good right now. Isn't doing good is an understatement. That movie was projected to make over $80 million over last weekend, and it made like, what, 30? That's less than 50%. That's atrociously bad. I did not see it, I must say. I did not see it, so I can't say anything about how good the movie was, but I have not heard good things. Yeah. Yeah. No, giving control to any fan base is letting the inmates run the asylum. I understand that, but you're not giving control to these superfans. You're just allowing them to put an input. Like, you don't have to take what they say as gospel and put that into effect. Like, if they're talking in the superfan groups and they're saying you should make an Old Republic show, you don't have to do that, but you can put it into consideration. You know? The first Joker movie opened with almost 100 million, 97 million. That's crazy. I didn't even know it was out. Well, there you go. Well, there you go. So for me, I don't agree with this. I think, yes, you obviously don't want to put all the power in the fans' hands, but it's better to listen to your fans than to not. And if you're just going to go blindly into the unknown, not listening to the people who are going to pay to see all this stuff, then it's just stupid. Why have fans in the first place? You know? If you're not going to try to please them or at least have their ideas be heard, then what's the point? And I think the same can be said about Kenobi. We just talked about the Obi-Wan Kenobi getting a second season. Let's put it this way. Kenobi was a limited series. It was always intended to be a limited series. If they listen to the fans, it will get a second season. If they listen to Ewan, it'll get a second season. But that's because of the fans wanting more and asking for more. If that didn't happen, if Lucasfilm, if Disney didn't listen to the fandom, then we wouldn't see a second season. And as many of you in the chat, still 91% of you still want a Kenobi season 2. You know? Kenobi wasn't good. Well, then that's you not liking Kenobi. Isn't Lady Gaga in the new Joker movie? Yes, she is Harley Quinn in it. That is true. That is true. I don't agree, that the fans are necessarily, there you go, creatives. They're customers. I agree with that. They're not the creative minds that are going to write the shows, direct the shows, but they do have ideas. And putting those ideas into consideration when you're making the next project is a big thing. I'm not saying that these focus groups of superfans should be the ones who are making the decisions. They're the ones writing the scripts, the ones directing the movies, directing the shows. No. But their ideas, their concepts, their hopes and desires for future Star Wars content should be put into consideration. Because if all fans are begging and pleading for an Old Republic show or a Kenobi season 2, because we're talking about it today, then that should be put into consideration. The same can be said for even The Acolyte. Now, The Acolyte's a little bit different here. There's a lot of fans that really, really, really dislike The Acolyte. There's a lot of fans who really, really love The Acolyte. There's that whole renew The Acolyte thing that's going out there, the petition to sign. It's probably got close to, I guess, 100,000 signatures, something like that. If that was to actually get like a few million signatures and fans, millions of fans were saying, give me The Acolyte season 2, there's no way that Lucasfilm can deny that. You know? Salty Texas Ranger in the house. What's up? If season 2 gets new writers and a new director, I'd be good with that. I would guess Deborah Chow would come back, but I would guess that the writer would be gone. What was the writer's name of Kenobi season 1? I forget his name completely, actually. Yeah. Shows you how much I didn't pay attention to the new Joker because I didn't even know Lady Gaga was in it. Well, there you go. If you saw any commercial, then you would know. Toby? Toby? Was it Toby? The Force Dragon, what's up? No more Reva, please. Reva's a weird one because she survived the end of the first season. So it's likely she would be in the second season, but I don't know what kind of role she'd play. She's not an Inquisitor anymore. Seems like she has to go into hiding, you know? Yeah, no? No more Mog? Oh, my God. Oh, my. Use it for only considerations and as suggestions for input to maintain the story. Yeah, well, obviously you're not going to take what the fans say and take it and just do exactly what they say. No, absolutely not. Fans aren't toxic. Toxic is people who just like to hate. A fan doesn't poo on others. Okay. Yes, that is true. That is true. Oh my, you guys are crazy. Honestly, they should just ask people like you and the people in the chat. Yes, but that's hard to do. You got to think about it from the business perspective. If you ask 100 Star Wars fans what they want to see, Joby Harold, thank you. If you ask 100 Star Wars fans what they want to see, all 100 of them are probably going to give you different answers. Now, some will be the same, but do you just take the majority's answer? Because what if those 100 are completely different from the next 100 that you ask? Star Wars is such a big franchise that there's millions upon millions upon millions of fans. And it's hard to ask every single one of them what they want, or at least give them what they want. So you're not trying to please everybody when you create new content. You're just trying to please the majority, and you're trying to just give great new content. That's what The Mandalorian did at such a successful rate, is gave us brand new characters and new content that we didn't know that we wanted. That's the big thing too, is yes, you can listen to these superfans who can tell you what they want, but there's some stuff that they don't even know they want. Star Wars in general is one of those things. In 1976, the year before Star Wars came out, nobody on the planet knew that they wanted Star Wars. Millions upon millions of fans of the movie that would come out a year later didn't even know that movie existed. So they didn't know what they wanted. The same can be said about Mando or Andor or Skeleton Crew or The Acolyte. Fans of those projects didn't know they wanted that until they received it. So bringing all these super fans together for focus groups is great, but there's also projects that we don't know we want. And The Mandalorian is a perfect example of that. We didn't know we wanted a baby version of Yoda. We didn't know we wanted Grogu. We didn't know we wanted Din Djarin. But we got it, and it's incredible. You know? Yeah. I would like to see Mara Jade be brought back into canon, a new version of her and a lost Luke. I mean, I'd be down for that. Oh, Luke and Mara's lost kid. Yeah, I'd be fully down for that. I still think there's plenty of time in this Mandoverse time period to tell a story about Mara Jade for sure. For sure. The fans got the Old Republic, and look what happened. We didn't get the Old Republic. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? We're still patiently waiting. I want season 2, but they cheaped out on the first season. Hard. I wouldn't say that. I think the first season just should have been a movie. You know? I don't think it should have been 6 episodes. Yeah, no? If season 2 gets a new... Oh, I already read that. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't pay attention to Joker 2 because the first one wasn't good either. Oh, wow. That might anger a lot of people. Yeah, that might not be. Yeah. Obi-Wan marries Reva and then they have a baby. Oh, my God. It's official, chat. We've lost our minds. It's official. These ads are turning me to the dark side, bro. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Uncle Owen needs more screen time. I like the actor. Yeah, the actor's great, but Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru shouldn't really get much screen time. Let's be honest. They're not that big of a role here. We know how their story ends. Yeah. Ow. It's cramped. Crazed Dominican says, Obi-Wan and Boba should both get new seasons, but with totally different writers and both characters, because both characters have a lot of potential. Yeah, I mean, Book of Boba Fett, I think, has more potential than even an Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 does. You know? Kenobi Season 2 has a lot of limitations on it. You can't really have Obi-Wan fight Vader again. You can't do all this stuff. But for Boba Fett, the possibilities are pretty much endless. You can have him leave Tatooine, stay on Tatooine. You can bring in some of his old friends from Bosk to really anybody. Bounty hunters, crime syndicates, more Hutts, Crimson Dawn, Kira, all that stuff. Possibilities are endless with Boba. For Kenobi, it's a little bit more restrained. Nathan says, I think we should have both people both people who love Star Wars and who critique Star Wars in these focus English, Mike! God! Okay, let me try that again. I think we should have both people who love Star Wars and both people who critique Star Wars in those focus groups so that they're balanced. Yeah, I mean, that's, again, very hard to do. Dengar, yes, Dengar too. That's very hard to do. Because people who critique Star Wars versus people who just hate to hate, it's hard to weed out which is which. Especially in a focus group scenario, you know? Yeah, no? I think for season 2, they can make it about the dark side cult that takes Reva and or Luke. And Obi-Wan needs to travel across Tatooine to maybe they have Darth Krayt as a cameo. A dark side cult, eh? I don't know. I mean, Reva came to the light side at the end of the first season. I don't know what her plan's going to be, but definitely shouldn't take Luke. Luke shouldn't be involved in this second season at all. I actually think he was too involved in the first season. Reva chasing him around should probably not have happened. You know? Yeah, I know. You must drink from the good cup that follows orders to be able to speaketh properly. Okay, I'm on it. Let's do it then. Can I get some good cups follow orders in the chat, please? Bum, ba. That's pretty good. Lobo, what's up? Oh, just go down to the bottom. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Let's just talk about Star Wars GOATs, George Lucas and Filoni. Team Luconi. LOL. Well, there's a lot more Star Wars GOATs than that, but yeah, that's the Master and Apprentice duo you like there. You know? What if Season 2 is just going to be about Obi-Wan chilling on Tatooine, living his best life? That would suck. Gonna be completely honest, that would blow chunks, okay? I need it to be good. You need Season 2 to be better than Season 1, we'll put it at that. Yeah. Which isn't easy, you know? It's not as easy as you think. Yeah. He was agreeing with you at the point that we didn't know what we wanted until we got it. With the Old Republic, we didn't know until it was invented. Oh, I get you. Yeah, because the Old Republic, of course, that is true. Because we didn't get the Old Republic until fairly recently. I mean, like 30 years ago, but fairly recently, and we didn't know that we wanted it until we got it. That's true. That is true. At least we're not talking about farts today. That's true. At least we're not talking about farts today. It's an upgrade, chat. We're doing good. Reva has to be in Season 2, just so that she can be killed off to save the secret of the Skywalker twins and Anakin's identity. Yeah, which is why I'm really surprised she didn't just die at the end of Kenobi Season 1. Like, it was very easy to just kill her off at the end of that show. Her ending redemption arc, it was good, but you could have just had her die to Vader. It would have been so much easier to just have her die to Darth freaking Vader and then move on. You know? She held her own for like 3 seconds. You know? I like Rey Skywalker, but George Lucas spoke about Vader's grandchildren. Do you think that Filoni is going to bring George's idea back to reality? Talon as a new Vader? Well, in order to have in order to have Anakin's grandchildren, that would be Ben Solo, which was in the sequel trilogy. But I don't know. Are you talking like Luke has a secret child? I'd love to bring in Darth Talon. That would be fantastic, but I don't know if they'll go down that route. The Rey movie is going to be very interesting because we don't know who the villain will be. We don't know anything, really. Yeah. Iman Esfandi will become becoming Ezra Bridger and joining the Star Wars universe. Katie Sackhoff, check it. What? Iman Esfandi, Katie Sackhoff? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't see nothing. I don't see it. All right, speaking of the Rey movie, let's switch gears a little bit here for a quick second to that Rey movie, okay? Let's take a quick second and go back here. This interaction, so to speak, between John Boyega, who of course plays Finn in the sequel trilogy, and Simu Liu, is it Simu? The guy who plays Shang-Chi from Marvel, on Twitter has kind of spiked some fans' interests about possibly seeing Finn be in the Rey movie. And this is sort of the whole thing that happened here. So Simu just put this GIF, or GIF, but it's GIF, on a Twitter post of Finn igniting his lightsaber. And John Boyega comments with a bunch of these emojis. You know, the ones, looks like Han Solo's half smirk type of emoji. You know? Is it GIF or GIF? I feel like we've had this argument already. But Mace Windu's dead. Deal with it. Kyle, I think you're a little bit behind on the stream, but yes, I agree with you. Yeah, so John Boyega kind of stoking the flames a little bit here with Star Wars fans who want to see him back as Finn. I don't think there's much of this. I really don't think there's much to this. I know fans love to hope and pray. I hope that Finn is in the Rey movie, but I don't think so. Yeah. Team GIF. Okay. You guys are crazy. Yes, that emoji exactly. So that's kind of the news on that. There wasn't much to it. But in other actors coming back to roles type of news, Timothy Olyphant? Is it Olyphant? Olyphant? Timothy Olyphant. Olyphant. The guy who plays Cobb Vanth, okay? The guy who plays Cobb Vanth in The Mandalorian season 2 and the Book of Boba Fett. He's not in season 3. The guy who plays Cobb Vanth. Everybody know Cobb Vanth? Well, the GOAT? Cobb Vanth. Cobb Vanth, for new Star Wars characters, might be one of the best. He's definitely top 10. Maybe even top 5. Probably not top 5. When you think of Disney Star Wars characters, you think Din Djarin, you think Grogu, you think Kylo Ren, you think Cal Kestis, Cassian Andor. So I guess he's not top 5. But then you kind of go into the realm of Ezra Bridger, Kanan Jarrus, Harrison Dula, the Rebels crew, and you get through those, and maybe he's top 15. Okay, maybe he's top 15. But Cobb Vanth, he could be coming in the Mandalorian. Pause. Hang on. Let me.
Incorrect.
He could be appearing in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and this is why fans seem to think this. Timothy Olyphant, recently spotted with a haircut similar to Cobb Vanth. Could we be seeing Cobb Vanth in the upcoming Mandalorian and Grogu movie? So, Timothy's hairstyle is not usually this way, or at least not as of recent, but he's been spotted at some sort of gala, as you can see behind him, with supporting the iconic look, I guess iconic, sure, it's iconic enough, of Cobb Vanth, stoking the flames, yet again, for Star Wars fans to predict that he could be appearing as Cobb Vanth in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which is filming right now. Now, just let's give a little background on where Cobb Vanth's character should be at right now. First of all, him and Din Djarin are all buddy-buddy. But last time we saw the character, he got gunned down by Cad Bane. They had this awesome, cool standoff, and Cad Bane shot him. But he didn't die, because the Book of Boba Fett post-credit scene is Cobb Vanth in the Bacta tank at Jabba's palace, or I guess now Boba's palace. So Cobb Vanth lives. We know that for a fact. If he shows up in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, doesn't that mean Boba's going to be there too? We don't know much about this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. It's been filming for about 3 months now, and it's going to probably film for another 2. It's been filming for quite some time. We don't know anything except for Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney Weaver is going to be in the movie. Other than that, we pretty much know nothing. So we don't know if Boba Fett's going to appear. We don't know if Bo-Katan, Cobb Vanth, we don't know if any of these characters, Luke Skywalker, we don't know if these characters will appear. However, this is some pretty good evidence. He's got the look of Cobb Vanth, haircut, beard cut. They're not really hiding it very well, if that is the case. So, if Cobb Vanth is in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which this leads me to believe, that means Tamara Morrison gets his dreams come true, and fans' dreams as well, as Boba Fett will likely be in the movie as well. Now, how big a role they have in that movie, probably not that big, but it could be setting up the next movie, as I believe this Mandalorian and Grogu movie is probably going to be about Thrawn and how he's going to assert his dominance on the galaxy and how Din and Grogu have to deal with that. I think we'll see Din and Grogu lose to Thrawn pretty badly and then have to go ask for help from his friends, per usual. And those friends are Bo-Katan, Boba Fett, Luke Skywalker, and Cobb Vanth. So he'll take a trip to Tatooine to go visit his old friends, which will be pretty damn cool. So that's sort of the Mandalorian and Grogu news, as Timothy Olyphant is rocking the Cobb Vanth hairstyle, which will be pretty cool. You know? What other evidence do you need? The man got a haircut and a beard trim. Cold hard proof. Exactly. Well, obviously not. Obviously, he's got the look of Cobb Vanth, but it doesn't confirm that he's in the movie, and it won't be confirmed until we either see a trailer that he's in or we see the movie itself. But this is enough to spike speculation online in the Star Wars fandom. That's for damn sure. So, there you go. Cobb Vanth could return in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I appreciate the hearts, guys. I really do. I really, really do. I want to stay away from Obi-Wan. It's too risky unless we delve into when he becomes a Force ghost. Just stay away from him. The problem is you have an actor in Ewan McGregor who fans love and who wants to come back himself. And when you have those two things, it's kind of hard to say no. Now, you can put him in other projects, but you already have the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which was already very successful. So why not just give a second season to it, you know? Yeah, no? Corn on the cob? Well, yeah, I guess. Timothy only fans, you guys are ridiculous. Elvin, what's up? Says, just subscribe to your channel. I appreciate that, Elvin. I really, really do. Cobb Vanth is the GOAT. He's definitely one of them. Balin Shin in Hondo. Yeah, Hondo and Hondo are very different characters. I hope we see Hondo Unaka, that is, in Skeleton Crew. Yeah, I hope so. Oh, and let's actually, yeah, that's the perfect transition over to the Skeleton Crew news. Skeleton Crew has got a few updates here. One, because toys were released, or at least the first look at toys, and we got some new characters revealed, but there's also this crazy theory going around about this pirate queen that is introduced in an old, or not that old, but an old Star Wars novel. The Aftermath trilogy, which is canon still to this day. But let's check this out, shall we? Okay, let's do this article first. Yeah, we'll do this one first. All right, let's talk about this first. Okay, so Skeleton Crew comes out in less than 2 months, and we still know very little about this show. Hopefully a new trailer is coming out sometime soon, but we did get some new characters' names and a look at new characters through merchandising, through toys. So, as is becoming something of a tradition, more details about the upcoming Disney Plus Star Wars series Skeleton Crew has been revealed via merchandising leaks. This seems to happen with every single show that comes out with Star Wars. Merchandise leaks out, and then we just keep getting more information before the show even releases. I don't know how this really happens, honestly. Maybe the people working for the merchandising companies, just somebody leaks it out. I don't know. But a set of bag clips featuring characters from the show was briefly listed online and featured several characters from the series, including the mysterious Force user, Jod Nawood, played by Jude Law. But of interest to fans were two previously unnamed characters, also included in the lineup. So this is the lineup of toys we're talking about here. So this is Jod Na Nawood, which, interestingly enough, does not look at all like Jude Law or the character that we see in the trailer. He's wearing this sort of scarf over his head and face. Now, this could be because he was on a desert planet or something like that, kind of just really stretching on that, but it's not the look that we see in the trailer. Then we got the pirate captain. This confirms that Brutus, we know this character as Brutus right here, he's going to be the pirate captain, which is pretty interesting. Of course, Neil. Neil is the goat. Neil right there in nice form. KB is the girl who looks like Cyclops. Wim is the kid who's sort of going to get them in all the trouble. And Fern is the other girl. So these are your four main kid characters. Then you got Kim, who's the owl that we see in the trailer. SM-33, who is the droid who pilots their ship. And then we got two new characters here. Well, this is Chase, which is Wim's speeder bike. I don't know why he gets his own thing. But you got two new characters here. Jorka, and Chase. Oh, wait, no, Chase is the speeder bike, right? Wait, what? Chase is Wim's speeder bike, but that's, okay, never mind. So I guess this Kim is the second new character on this, but whatever. Jorka. Sure, Jorka. What does Jorka look like here, Chad? I mean, other than exactly like Neil. Neil's baby bro, perhaps? I think so. I think this must be. It must be. I mean, it only makes sense. They look exactly the same. Same eyes, same blue face, same weird nose, elephant nose, same ears. Neil might have a baby brother, Chet. But Kim is our other one. He's the sort of owl dude. And this makes me think he's going to be more of a main character than we once previously believed, as he's on this list of very main characters in the show. So this was deleted almost immediately after someone spotted it online, blah, blah, blah. This is our owl character from the trailer. And of course, the first two episodes release on December 3rd. December 3rd is coming, chat. It's less than 2 months away. But that's your look at the cast and crew. Now, let's talk about the Pirate Queen, okay? So there's rumor now that fans are figuring out that pirates are going to be heavily involved in this Skeleton Crew show, that there will be these Pirate Queen, okay? And as Anthony says, Mike, Sigourney Weaver as the Pirate Queen? That would be interesting. I actually want to see a cyborg pirate from Young Jedi Adventures who was very lethal and banished. Well, that would be kind of cool. But yes, so this brings up the good point. Sigourney Weaver was cast to the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. But it's an unknown role. We don't know if she's going to be a good guy or a bad. Now, fans have fully come on the bandwagon of her being this Pirate Queen. The Pirate Queen has already existed in canon Star Wars, so let's read this. Star Wars, the Pirate Queen of Wild Space explained. Star Wars Skeleton Crew has the potential to introduce a thrilling new villain, the Pirate Queen of Wild Space. The Star Wars galaxy is a vast one. In the upcoming Skeleton Crew series, we'll explore a region of space that seldom has been before. Wild Space is off the edge of the map. The Skeleton Crew will introduce a group of young adventurers who wander uncharted space as they seek a way home. Although Skeleton Crew is set in the same time as the Mandalorian era shows, and one with an upcoming movie, Grand Admiral Thrawn isn't expected to be the main villain. Rather, the show will focus on a group of pirates, including Marty, the guy who plays Vane, introduced in The Mandalorian Season 3. Over and above Vane, though, it looks likely that the show will feature a foe donned straight from Chuck Wendig's Aftermath trilogy, the Pirate Queen of Wild Space, known to have been active around this time. So if you don't know, there is a Aftermath trilogy. It's a Star Wars trilogy of books that is canon to Star Wars. Canon. And exists in this time period after the original trilogy and before the sequel trilogy. It explores Luke, Leia, and Han a lot. A lot of Leia's issues with being in the Senate, and they find out that her father is obviously Vader, and that doesn't go over very well, but they are still canon books for now. The first book set in the New Republic era, Chuck Wendig's Aftermath trilogy, has proven massively important. They introduced readers to the New Republic. Jeez. What the heck? Ugh.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I just choked on air, chat. Ah. Okay. They introduced readers to the New Republic, told the story of the Battle of Jakku, which is now being told in comics as well. That now being fleshed out in comics, and introduces characters such as Cobb Vanth in The Mandalorian Season 2 and the Book of Boba Fett fame. They also introduced Eliod Mara Carvania, the self-styled pirate queen of wild space. Great name. I'm just going to refer to her as the Pirate Queen, if that's okay with you guys. Jeez. Okay. Hailing from Nar Shaddaa, which is the underworld planet of the sort of underworld? Underworld planet of the underworld. It's the underworld planet of the syndicates, I guess. The Hutts usually are meet on Nar Shaddaa, even though Jabba the Hutt doesn't really live there. All that stuff. Nar Shaddaa is kind of the capital of the underworld, so to speak. But the Pirate Queen, we'll keep it at that, is a non-binary human who was once enslaved by the Galactic Empire, but became a pirate, of course, after the Empire fell. The Pirate Queen was a capable leader with a keen strategic mind. After the Battle of Endor, she successfully took over the Annihilator, an Imperial superstar destroyer that had served as the flagship of Grand General Cassio Tag's fleet. She used the Superstar Destroyer, now renamed Liberty's Misrule, great name, as she portable base for operations, soon establishing a crime empire across wild space known as, and she became known as the Pirate Queen of Wild Space. Okay, now, with that being said, could Sigoni? Is it Sigoni? Sigoni? Okay. Sigourney Weaver, if she could play this role, that would be fantastic. The Pirate Queen of Wild Space, a character that already exists in the Aftermath novels. Honestly, I kind of forgot that Cobb Vanth was already in these books, because I read these books so long ago, and because they came out in the 2010s, right? Around that time? Or actually, when did the first book come out? Let's see. When did the Aftermath trilogy release? I believe it was 1 year after the next with these books. Yeah, it was 2015 was the first one. 2015, then 2016, then 2017? Hang on. Yeah, I believe it was 2015, 16, 17, but I could be wrong. But that's still 4 years before The Mandalorian. Actually, 5 years before The Mandalorian Season 2 when they introduced Cobb Vanth. So, you've already introduced a character of Cobb Vanth from this trilogy, and you have the opportunity to introduce even more with this Pirate Queen of Wild Space. Okay. So, how did the Pirate Queen become so influential? Good question. Wild space is largely uncharted, meaning it's always been a safe haven for pirates and smugglers, many of whom know the only safe hyperspace routes. And some easily slip away from Imperial persuaders. The Pirate Queen took advantage of the power vacuum created by Palpatine's death, realizing the Empire and New Republic would continue to wage war against one another, and that it would be a long time before either felt stable enough to police wild space again. So this pretty much never-ending war between good versus evil came to the advantage of the Pirate Queen. So where she saw a power vacuum in wild space, she took it because the New Republic and the Empire were fighting for so long, even after the Empire died. After the Battle of Endor, there was still the Battle of Jakku and many other smaller battles that happened to sort of put the Empire away for good. And it really wasn't for good because they eventually come back as the First Order, but we know that. Yeah. Okay. So, will she appear in Skeleton Crew? That becomes the big question. This is not the Pirate Queen. This is Gorian Shard. Okay. Space pirates have been something of the background problem for the Mandalorian era, with criminals taking advantage of galactic chaos to try to create their presence felt at a wider scale. The Mandalorian Season 3 introduced Gorian Shard, this handsome fellow right here. This handsome fellow right here. A self-styled pirate king who even tried to conquer the planet of Navarro. Shard is active at the same time as the Pirate Queen, so it's entirely possible that the Pirate King and Pirate Queen are connected. It's perhaps significant that Vane is working with Skeleton Crew forces, linking the two pirate groups together. So Vane, the pirate from Mandalorian Season 3, might be the key to connecting all this story, the connecting between the Pirate King, Pirate Queen, and so on and so forth. Yeah. More importantly, though, it's already been confirmed that the Skeleton Crew takes a place in wild space, the very sector of space that the Pirate Queen dominated. Even the timeline matches up. Pirate Queen appeared in books set roughly around 4 years before Skeleton Crew. Huh. Interesting. So it seems to be all lining up perfectly. That's for damn sure. The interesting question is whether or not she will appear or be the main villain of remain a villain as the Mandalorian era continues. There were clearly links between the Imperial Remnant and Gorian Shard's pirates. So there may well be an ongoing partnership of some kind. The Pirate Queen wouldn't want to balance the power to tip too decisively into the Empire's favor, though. So she would shift, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So if she does appear in this Skeleton Crew show, the Pirate Queen, that is, it's possible that she could be the main villain, and she could sort of take over, or already have taken over wild space and become a big, big threat for the upcoming Mando movie, or even for Grand Admiral Thrawn as he's trying to conquest the galaxy. So it's all starting to kind of come together. The Pirate Queen takes control of wild space because the Empire, or the remnant of the Empire, is fighting against the New Republic. And now, with Grand Admiral Thrawn coming into play, making the remnant of the Empire even stronger, then this Pirate Queen and the Skeleton Crew themselves might find themselves in the middle of a big old war. So when you think about Skeleton Crew and how it's going to connect to the Mandalorian and Grogu, how these characters will connect to all this other stuff, then it's possible that we could be seeing Thrawn in this Skeleton Crew show. Probably not as a big appearance, but maybe at the end to set up what's coming next. Wait, what's coming next after Skeleton Crew in the Mandoverse is the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Huh. It might not happen for a few years, but the next show or movie that takes place in the Mandalorian and Grogu in the Mandoverse is the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Huh. So Skeleton Crew is the last thing to sort of set up that movie. So it'll be interesting to see how much that show plays into it. You know? Yeah. We shall see. Anakin Skywalker in the house. What is up? Okay. This actually brings us perfectly to what's going on. We just talked about the Battle of Jakku. Let's talk about it even more. 41 years later, Star Wars is finally filling in one of the most interesting gaps in the Star Wars canon. So we've gone to the Mandoverse, which takes place about 5, 6, 7 years after Return of the Jedi. But there's something huge in the middle that isn't a story that's been told or at least been fleshed out. We talked about the Aftermath trilogy, talking about or explaining a little bit of the Battle of Jakku and explaining what happened there and how that war or battle took place and played out. But right now in Star Wars comics, there's a whole run about the Battle of Jakku and explaining it way more conclusively and in detail. So it's filling in one of the biggest gaps in Star Wars canon, or one of the most interesting gaps in Star Wars canon. So let's read this. The sequels we've always wanted is what it says here too. What happened right after the Empire was defeated at the Battle of Endor, right after Return of the Jedi? The celebration at the end of Return of the Jedi tells one story. The entire Star Wars galaxy changed in an instant, and nothing was the same anymore. But realistically, nothing would have changed that fast on a scale so vast. It's rhyming. So here's the thing. Yes, the Emperor and Vader both fall at the same time, and they were the leaders of the Empire. Absolutely. That is what happens in Return of the Jedi. But that celebration across the entire galaxy is not... It's obviously what happened, but it's not that realistic. The Empire doesn't just vanish like that just because the leader's gone. There's still Grand Moffs, there's still generals, there's still leaders all over the place. So it's not like the Empire just disappeared in an instant. There's still more going on. And the details of the direct aftermath of Return of the Jedi have been one of the most interesting moments in Star Wars canon. A moment that now is getting more and more scrutiny and space than ever before. As a direct sequel to Return of the Jedi, a new Marvel Comics series, Star Wars: The Battle of Jakku, Insurgents Rising, picks up with the story of the rebellion just hours after the decisive victory at Endor. Just hours. As fireworks light up the sky of various worlds, the series tells a different story, one that Star Wars fans have been looking forward to for quite some time. The Battle of Endor was only part of an ending. Writer Alex Segura tells Inverse. Mild spoilers ahead. So if you don't want any spoilers for this comic, I guess you probably should just like fast forward or something, or just kind of plug your ears for a second. Rise of the Imperial Remnant. So this is obviously Jakku. It's where Rey is in. It's where Rey is in the beginning of The Force Awakens. It's where Rey grew up in The Force Awakens. But there's all these destroyed AT-AT walkers, the crashed Star Destroyers. There was a war here years and years before. Yeah. With this new series, Segura is returning to writing for Star Wars, having previously written on 2020's Poe Dameron Freefall, as well as a short story Resolve from 2020's anthology Stories of Jedi and Sith. He says this specific era, right after Return of the Jedi, is something fans have really clamored for since clamored for a sense of what comes next, and how it leads to another big story in the Star Wars universe. The other big stories Segura is alluding to are both obvious and... Wait, what? Oh, the Mandalorian era. Yes, of course. 5 years after Return of the Jedi. The Imperial Remnant is a whole big headache for the New Republic, but at this point in the story, just hours after Return of the Jedi ends, Leia hasn't even started building... Wait, what? Oh, hasn't been put into the Senate yet. As Han says early on in issue number 1 of Insurgents Rising, these Imperial dreads have to be cleaned up fast, and you got a republic to form. Jeez, I thought the Good Cup would help me, but it didn't. Okay, I'm just losing my brain now. Did Luke bring that Star Destroyer down? Well, that specific one, I don't know. But yes, I'm sure. Probably not. I don't know. That specific one? Maybe. Astrid Wan Kenobi? Great name. What's up? Okay. This statement from Han foreshadows the primary threat of the new 4-part miniseries, which leads to an interesting comeback of some canon characters fans may have forgotten about. Interesting. a bunch of Imperials. That's thought we were talking about like some cool heroes or something. But let's talk about this for a second. So this comic run is exploring the Battle of Jakku. Now, the Battle of Jakku has been something that obviously either fans have heard about or know about, or maybe just have heard in passing. But it's something that hasn't really been explored because even though it's such an important thing in the Star Wars canon. Amanda says, what's Wild Space? Wild Space is going to be where the Skeleton Crew takes place. It's sort of just it's a space in the Star Wars galaxy. I believe it's in the Outer Rim, but it's where pirates and crime syndicates kind of control everything going on. It's the wild space. There's no Empire reign. There's no New Republic reign. It's outside of the, Outer Rim sort of area. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Battle of Jakku. So many Star Wars fans have heard of the Battle of Jakku, but you don't really know what happened there. You would if you read some of the Aftermath trilogy and really dive deep into Star Wars canon. But for fans who don't do that, then these comics are sort of telling the story. New, old Star Wars villains, yes. Among some of the Star Wars deep cuts, you have the characters of Bragg and Governor Adelhard, sure. Bragg is a shock trooper wearing Darth Vader-ish garb who was introduced in 2015's mobile game Star Wars Uprising, and though largely forgotten, is still totally canon. So that would be this guy right here. He does have a very Vader-ish look to him. He was a shock trooper wearing Darth Vader-ish garb introduced in 2015's mobile game. Okay, interesting. But the mastermind behind the ruthless Imperial Resistance Force is Governor Adelhard, sure, who, in flashback stories, we learn it was a contemporary of Tarkin and Thrawn in the glory days of the Empire. This character was created for the Uprising game along with Bragg, though Adelhard has been mentioned in various novels and comics since 2015. So both of these characters are still only 9 years old, but they are canon characters that already exist, So these two right here. I believe that is Bragg that is Bragg, and that is Governor Adelhard. Both introduced in a video game, mobile game actually, called Uprising, and actually one was close with Tarkin and Thrawn. Pretty cool. Before Moff Gideon in The Mandalorian and the return of Thrawn in Ahsoka Season 1, the biggest bads in the Imperial Remnant were Bragg and Adelhard. The Insurgents Rising, Segura writing, is bridging the gap not just between the New Republic and the Rebellion, but the Empire as we see it in the Mandoverse, and the Empire as it is right after Palpatine's demise. Because by the time of the Mandalorian, the Empire is pretty much all but gone. Pretty much. It's just the remnant of the Empire. There's very little of them, and they're all pretty much in the Outer Rim. In The Mandalorian Season 3, we see that there's a lot more than we think, but they're in hiding from the New Republic. But right after Palpatine dies, they're definitely not in hiding. They still control the entire galaxy, Is it Amanda's birthday? Amanda's birthday? Can we get some happy birthdays for Amanda in the chat? Is it actually Amanda's birthday? Just caught it out of the corner of my eye. Is this a TV show? No, this is a comic run about the Battle of Jakku. Yeah. Yeah, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate Amanda's birthday. How do we celebrate? I'm just going to play the celebration song, okay? Nobody's become a member, but we're just going to do it for Amanda's birthday, shall we? Happy birthday, Amanda. Whoa, where did I go? Why is it a black screen? Chat, what happened? Amanda broke the stream. Oh, fixed it. Damn, Amanda, you almost just broke the stream. You almost just absolutely destroyed the entire stream. We had to end the stream just because it was your stupid birthday. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It was just a black screen there for a second. Okay, where was I? Yes, the Battle of Jakku. So this comic run, the first issue came out last week, I believe, and it's going to be, I believe, a 4-part thing. Did I read? 4-part thing, 4-part miniseries, yes. So if you want to learn more about that time period right after the Empire lost and before The Mandalorian, where we see the remnant of the Empire, then you're definitely going to want to check that out for sure. Definitely want to check that out for sure. And it seems as though now, more than ever, all these sort of stories are coming together. We just talked about how Skeleton Crew is going to connect to The Mandalorian and vice versa with Vane and all that stuff. But we're now going to the movie theaters. And The Mandalorian and Grogu is going to connect to all this stuff. Whether we see Luke, Leia, and Han or not, it's all still going to be very interconnected. So that'll be pretty cool. Yeah. All right, I'm going to end this poll, which says, do you want a Kenobi Season 2? 88% of you, with almost 100 votes, 88% of you guys said yes, you want a Kenobi Season 2, which is absolutely great, because I want a Kenobi Season 2 too. But now the question becomes, will we actually get it? There's a difference between wanting and receiving. And obviously, Ewan McGregor has been saying that he wants this Kenobi Season 2 for years now. But this weekend has given us the update that we all wanted. And that is, we could be seeing a Kenobi Season 2 as Disney and Lucasfilm are exploring ideas for a second season. Now, before we get on out of here, and we're going to get on out of here pretty soon, please, chat, tell me what you want Kenobi Season 2 to look like. We'll go back to Kenobi, okay? What do you want Kenobi Season 2 to look like, if you do want it in the first place? Brent, what's up? JC says, how many years between the Empire losing and the Mandalorian? Well, the Empire loses the Battle of Endor, I believe, what year? 3 ABY? Is it 3 or 4? Or 5 maybe even. What year does Palpatine die? Actually, wait, in Return of the Jedi, because he doesn't really die. Return of the Jedi. Damn it. What year does Return of the Jedi take place? Here we go. Return of the Jedi takes place in 4 ABY. So The Mandalorian takes place in 9 ABY. So 5 years, right? 5 years after. So in those 5 years, the Empire kind of gets just extinguished, or at least put into hiding by the New Republic in those 5 years. Yeah. Yes, Palpatine does not die. Okay. He just has clones. My clones. Well, yeah, technically. Yeah. Obi-Wan versus Hutt minions and Tusken Raiders. Is that a good enough story for a second season, though? Is that really what you want to see for a second season, though? You know? To see Ahsoka in Season 2? Ahsoka in Season 2 would be pretty good, too. I mean, of Season 2 of Kenobi would be great. Yeah, no? KG says, oh my god, the camera angle, Mike? My photographer OCD's no likey? What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Watching Supernova's Arc 3D? I don't know what that is, but okay. Yeah. Bean says, 2 things I absolutely want to see if we get a Kenobi Season 2. Chrysanthemum getting his scar from Obi-Wan. Oh, I didn't even think about that. And Obi-Wan putting away Qui-Gon's old Kyber crystal in directions to build a lightsaber for Luke. Huh. 2 crazy things. First, let's talk about Chrysanthemum. Yes, Obi-Wan fights Chrysanthemum on Tatooine in a canon Star Wars comic. Is it canon? I believe it's canon. A canon Star Wars comic. So that would be pretty cool. Because Chrysanthemum's obviously in the Book of Boba Fett. I'd love to see that. That would be awesome. And Obi-Wan putting Qui-Gon's old Kyber crystal away with directions for Luke to build a new lightsaber will be pretty damn cool too. That would be pretty awesome. Yeah. There's things that they can do that would be really, really cool in Kenobi Season 2, but there has to be a main plot, a main villain, a main story that has to play out. So those things can happen, and they're cool things, but there has to be a main plot that draws attention and draws fans to the show. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, I want some birthday cake. What's going on there? Is there enough birthday cake for chat? Huh? Can't just come in here, say it's your birthday, and then just get all these nice happy birthday messages, and then not expect us to want some cake. Okay? No, you demand or woman. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, it needs a good plot. That's the big thing, is you need to draw the fans back. And obviously you have to have Hayden Christensen in there, and the only thing is you're going to have him be young Hayden Christensen. I mean, young Anakin. You can't bring Vader back. I mean, technically you could, but it wouldn't work well because they can't fight again. They can't fight again. There can't be a rematch of the century times 2. Just won't happen. That's okay. Luke holding Grogu's pretty sick. Did you bring enough for the whole class? Exactly. Where's my cake? Yeah. Chocolate cake? All right, chat. What's your preferred cake? Chocolate, vanilla, confetti, or whatever it is, marble cake, ice cream cake. What flavor? We've completely gone off the topic of Star Wars now, but, what are you going to do? Oh, and by the way, what if Grogu became the first Mando Sith, or even Sabine? That would be pretty sick. And speaking of what ifs, this week's what if is going to be what if Luke Skywalker joined Darth Vader when he tells him that he's his father in Empire Strikes Back. So when he says, join me and together we can rule the galaxy, like that, he does join him. That's the what if for today. He joins him and we go from there. Yeah, that's the what if this week. It's pretty epic. A raspberry lemon cake? Never even heard of that. Chocolate cake? Pretty bomb. Pretty bomb. Reva returns from being pursued by the Inquisitors, leading them to Tatooine, engaging Luke. Again, don't want to involve Luke too much, because if Luke sees all that, then it doesn't really work, Question? I got an answer. Shoot the question. Carrot cake? Carrot cake's pretty underrated. The cake is a lie? What? Chocolate cake? Nice. What the hell? What's your favorite cake? Favorite flavor? I like chocolate. I definitely like chocolate. I like an ice cream cake, though. Hard to go wrong with chocolate. Hard to go wrong with chocolate. That's for sure. That's a fire what if. I'm hoping so. I appreciate you guys all for watching those what ifs. They're really fun to make. And obviously, the first one has a shit ton of views. I think that first one's up to 38,000 views, which is insane. But the last week's one, honestly, it's kind of weird because, I thought the first one was great. I thought the second one was way better. The mall story was fantastic, but it didn't get nearly as many views, which is crazy. But the one from Sunday's on a good track right now. And I quite liked telling that one too. What if Padme didn't die from sadness? Vanilla cake. Vanilla cake can't go wrong with that either. A bit of carrot cake. Cheesecake. Ooh, cheesecake's bomb. Cheesecake is bomb. What? Nobody wants to see Obi-Wan just spend his time? He meditates, plays Jenga, and keeps sweeping all the sand out of his hut. No. I'd rather they don't spend $100 million or $200 million on just Obi-Wan playing Jenga. That's just me. I mean, maybe you guys do, but that's just me. Cupcakes? Oh, that's just a weak... No. Cupcakes suck. You know what? Cupcakes are just a sad excuse for what cake should be. There you go. If you ever go to a party where there's cupcakes, don't even get me started on mini cupcakes. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Mini cupcakes? So you're going to take the thing that's already so great, shrink it down to a cupcake, and then you're going to go, no, that's not good enough. We're going to make it mini? Are you kidding me? Ridiculous. Yeah. Hey, question. What did I miss here? Well, you missed quite a bit. We talked about this stream, to recap, Kenobi Season 2. Some more about Kenobi Season 2. Kenobi Season 2. Then we talked about some superfan focus groups. We talked about the Pirate Queen for the Skeleton Crew new characters. We talked about Battle of Jakku. We talked about all this stuff. Cobb Vanth being in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. We talked about Finn coming back for the Rey movie. We talked about it a lot today. Yeah. Indeed. I prefer a nice Danish with fruit on it. What's your favorite type of cake? I prefer a nice Danish with some fruit on it.
Incorrect.
God! We've lost our minds. Red velvet cake. Honestly, not a fan. But I respect it. Cad Bane? Cad Bane would be pretty cool. Some more live action Bane. I'm in on that. Ice cream with warm chocolate chip cookie. Ooh, that sounds bomb. That sounds bomb. No Revan. Reva? No more. No. What? What are you talking about? Also, no Deborah Chow in season 2. I don't think Deborah was really the issue with season 1. I mean, Deborah's done some incredible work on The Mandalorian. A lot of people complain about the shaky cam, which I can go without. Yeah, for sure. Sweeping Sand. Kenobi season 1 had an $80 million budget. So season 2 can do good with $100 million. Of course, it could include Captain Rex, too. Captain Rex would be great. Yeah. I don't do cheese. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I watched 3 last night. Maul was great. What? Oh, you watched all 3 last night. I understand now. Thank you. I appreciate that. Cake the Band. Is there a band named Cake? That's pretty great. You're Obi-Wan's daughter? Checks out. That's actually Obi-Wan's daughter. Alex, what's up? Alex says, hello there. I'm late. Yeah, you're about 2 hours late, Alex. Jeez. I like a good muffin. Okay, here's the thing. A muffin and a cupcake are pretty much the same thing. However, a muffin doesn't have, like, the cake is a way bigger version of a cupcake. The muffin doesn't have a way bigger version of the muffin. You know? You know? So, I love a muffin. A corn muffin? Whew, amazing. But there's no way bigger version of that. You know? Yeah. I think that the red clone should have their own season. The red clone? What are you talking about? What you talking about? Eat them by the fistful? Yeah, I would. Hershey Kiss cake with chocolate syrup, dark chocolate, or double dark chocolate chunk. What? What? Never heard of lava cake before? What? What is going on right now? Cake the band is dope. Okay, might have to check them out. Cake the Band was from the 90s. Is it Cake the Band or is it just Cake? Period. I'd love to see Vader tell television show, where it's set to his evil doings around the galaxy. Those that are mentioned in the books. A Vader show would be fantastic. I mean, fans have been waiting for a. I'll get to that in a second. Fans have been waiting for a Vader show for quite a long time. Absolutely. Yeah. Somebody in the chat, who was it? Skywalker Academy said blueberry muffin over lemon cake. No. Okay, so here's my thing. I like about everything. I'm a big dude. As we've mentioned before, I'm very large. Hayden Christensen, 6'1". Here's me standing next to him. I'm a large dude. It takes a lot of fuel, to keep this body going. So I eat just about anything. I'll eat pretty much anything. However, there's a very small list of things I do not like. One of those things I beyond hate, and that is a blueberry muffin. and blueberry pancakes for that matter. Blueberries baked into anything? No, thank you. I like blueberries. I love blueberries. I like pancakes. I love muffins. Together? No, thank you. Mike, Fifth Element? Oh my God. Oh my God. I know. It's probably the biggest, boldest take I've ever had. I unsubscribe. No! No!
I got a bad feeling about this.
It's the boldest take I've ever had, okay? I talk Star Wars quite a bit. I like The Acolyte. Saying I like The Acolyte is not nearly as bold as saying I don't like blueberry muffins. I understand. Yes, RG. I'm not a fan of blueberries baked into stuff either. There you go. Raise him to the highest level. Put him on a pedestal. Mike, you've gone down a path your subscribers can't follow. A guy who hates blueberry muffins. I'll start that channel. I will start that channel. And I will post daily about how much I dislike blueberry muffins. Yeah. Rex and the clones should have their own season. I'd love to see a Rex story. I'd love that, for sure. For sure. Blueberry muffins? All right, chat. That's the 2-hour mark. I got to get on out of here. I really got to go pee. Plus, I got to finish up this short that's going to post at 5 p.m. So watch out for that. Watch out for hopefully a video tomorrow. If not, then a short tomorrow as well. I really hope you guys are joking about, of course, unsubscribing. I know a few of you are. But don't take it to heart. Blueberry muffins just suck. Okay. And with that, hopefully Kenobi Season 2 does happen. Hopefully the story is incredible. And I will not be watching The Fifth Element for yet another week. Maybe I will. I'm a busy man, chat. I'm a busy man. You think I can just go sit down and watch The Fifth Element whenever I want? No. I got things to attend to, okay? Okay. I appreciate you guys. Smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not yet. Hit that subscribe and hit that bell. Actually, we were very close to hitting 93,000 subscribers. I wonder if we hit it during this live stream. Chat, hang on. Let's celebrate a little bit before we get on out of here. Let's celebrate just a tad as we, during this live stream, hit 93,000 subscribers. So let's celebrate quite a little bit right here, shall we? All right. Let me. This is going to say 90,000, but just imagine it says 93, okay? Okay. $93,000 subscribers. We are on the countdown to 100K, and we are 7,000 away. And I did not mean to rhyme there, but of course, at 100,000, I will be dumping this entire cup of water on my head. So you don't want to miss that. But we'll also be doing a giveaway on that live stream as well. We are 7,000 away. Hopefully, it happens within the next 2 months. I don't know when it will happen. Hopefully, it's not the middle of the night so we can do it live together and hit it together. But 93,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys. And may the force be with you. Always. Oh yeah, what a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate every last one of you so much more than you will ever know. Wow, what a crazy stream. This was a wild one, for sure. Happy birthday to Amanda. Hope you have a good birthday. And yeah. Watch out for a video hopefully tomorrow. And if not, then I'll see you guys next time. Of course, every live stream is Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for the rest of your lives. And yeah. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody.